All right, welcome into the Dynamo postgame show here on YouTube Soccer Matters as we bring you a little bit of thought after here. By the way, if you've got thoughts on this game here tonight, type it in. We'd love to react. We'd love your engagement. And you can also click on the subscribe button as well. All right, so Houston Dynamo Red Bulls tonight. We talked about the Red Bulls 4-4-2, very narrow pressing game. I think they made it difficult for the Dynamo tonight. So we'll get into a few thoughts on things. First off, let's just do a rundown of the goals here tonight. So 7th minute in, tremendous ball from Coco Carrasquilla. Picks out Aliou. It's a second assist for Carrasquilla. He's bringing more end product now. Puts the Dynamo up 1-0. Very important in the 7th minute because getting the game's first goal here is a good thing, right? You control the tactics, except for the fact that the Dynamo concede in the 43rd. Manuel for the Red Bull. They tie things up going into the locker room. Van Zier gets the assist. 59th minute, you don't see this often. Artur with a bad ball that gets knocked right to Lewis Morgan. Morgan picks the ball up. A couple of touches, hits a blast. 2-1. That's ultimately going to be the game-winning goal. And 2-1 is how it ends with the New York Red Bulls. And they elected to believe they could defend the lead. They did. They brought on Reyes, dropped into a 5-set at the back. They're very good in the aerial game, defending things. If you're going to beat New York in the air, it has to be a driven-in ball. It has to be timed perfectly. And as much as the Dynamo did have some territorial pressure at the end, you wondered if they could pull it off and if they could produce a tying goal. Certainly New York and Sandro Schwartz were aware of Griffin Dorsey and Coco Carrasquilla on that side of the field. They tested John Tolkien all night long. Edelman had to come over there and help. There was a lot of focus on Carrasquilla and Dorsey, which leads us to the simple thought that you got to get more out of the left side of the field. You didn't get enough, I don't think, tonight. So that's one of the areas the Dynamo certainly could have balanced a little bit more on the left side of the field. Coco Carrasquilla certainly is the guy they're playing through at this moment in time. But you got to credit the Red Bulls to come in here. Not an easy place to play. They made changes. Lewis Morgan quickly came in the game for Stroud. Andreas Reyes in the second half. Cameron Harper. These guys were brought on to bring a work ethic. They got that from them. Reyes slotted in as a third center back. And they get a 2-1 victory. So they'll go home. And they will take on, in their next match, FC Dallas. The Dynamo will quickly turn their attention to Columbus coming out in the CONCACAF Champions League. So if you have any thoughts, let us know.
Dylan very foreshadowing today. The team appeared to be gassed already just due to the games already played.
I think that's fair to bring that into things, but I think you also have to understand the Dynamo have made it clear they want to make some signings here in the short term, and as though we've heard that both from Pat Onstad, we've heard that from Ben Olsen, that they do want to make moves. They're aware of it, and certainly the fans want something like that. But they have had a lot of games. Let's face it. I don't think Amin Bassi's hitting all cylinders yet. Although you did see a wonderfully delivered ball from here. Red Bulls are cheaters. I don't know about that. Let's go Dynamo. Jonah Perez says that. Jorge Pedraza says with Reigns out, the chance creation went down. Did Ben pull the trigger too fast? I don't think so. I actually think Brooklyn Reigns has done very well to get these minutes and get this experience. Brooklyn Reigns, though, also tonight got caught in possession a bunch of times that hurt the Dynamo. And I think it hurt him on the very first tying goal in the 43rd minute. But every game he's gotten caught in possession, and it's led to a goal. Now, he's a young player. You're going to expect mistakes. But I think Ben pulling the trigger to bring on Jan Gregush, no, I don't think so, really, in my opinion. I don't think so. Emilio Perez Arce says, it was weird that Bassi played so far back. By the way, these are great observations from everybody. Again, I think it's a guy that's still trying to find his way back into it. He hasn't played much, missed a lot of training due to a visa, so it's going to take a bit of a while. Coco fell back late in the second half. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they certainly flooded that side of the field. They got a lot of numbers around Coco and Dorsey, knowing that was the biggest threat. And then the other threat, really, I think, which was pretty easy to see, was the long diagonal to Aliu. So there you go. Dumb mistakes today we made, like Reigns. Were bullied, and then Artur for some reason. Yeah, and I think Rushan says that, and I think there's no question. There were self-inflicted mistakes. Artur, that's really rare from him. Level of referees, I'm not going there. I don't think the referee won or lost this game. I mean, I think there was a lot of emotion based on some of the fouls that were called. Not really going to go on there on that. I think the Dynamo on both goals have some culpability for sure, Dylan. So check us out again. Continue to keep the thoughts coming in. This is good. I hope we're getting some people driving home in their cars. And by the way, remember, we're doing pre- and post-game on YouTube, Soccer Matters. We'll come back and take some more of your questions here tonight. I love your observations. They're excellent. I'm going to hand it over to Justin Finger to give us some results. Obviously, Miami got the big one. So everybody thinks right now Inter Miami will win every tournament they are in because they blew out Orlando City today. Yeah, remember, it's a long season. They got older players. Tata Martino's going to have to guide them, but they did blow out Orlando City. The ref was something, okay? Great lives from Emilio. Let's go orange. Closed window makes a difference. Refs are scabs. Real refs are on strike for paychecks. Okay. Yeah, I don't think the refs did it. Dynamo will look to make moves. You should expect some soon, I think. And both Pat Onstad and Ben Olsen have talked about that. All right, so I'm going to hand this microphone over to Justin, and he's going to give you some results right now, and then we'll get back to some of your thoughts.
All right. Let's see. So, start the weekend off, we had Minnesota to Columbus. That ended 1-1. Real Salt Lake beating LAFC 3-1, being down a man as well. Inter Miami, 2 goals from Suarez, 2 goals from Messi. They went up 5-0 over Orlando. Vancouver, Charlotte, 1-1. Chicago Fire losing at home to FC Cincinnati 2-1. FC Dallas losing at home to Montreal 2-1. Union Sporting Kansas City, that ended 1-1 with Bedoya scoring at the death to tie that game up.
At the death.
Yes, at the death. St. Louis City beating NYCFC 2-0. NYCFC getting a red card in that match.
This guy's a Union fan, okay? So that's why it gives you a little more information about the Philadelphia Union. Justin.
Well, and unfortunately, I hated seeing the Red Bulls win here tonight. Colorado is currently up 1-0 over Nashville in the 66th minute.
When they got smoked last weekend, they needed a good result.
Portland up.
Changes they made.
Yep. Portland up 1-0 over DC United in the 22nd minute. San Jose is losing at home to LA Galaxy on the 21st minute, 1-0. And in Seattle Sounders, Austin SC 0-0 currently in the 21st minute.
That's a big one for Austin after kind of a tepid performance last week. So every game we're going to look to do a post-game show here on YouTube. So let's look at players who, I do think there's some fatigue settling in. They got to turn around and play Columbus in CONCACAF Champions League. Great to see them advance to the round of 16. It's a rare loss at home. The Dynamo only lost in the regular season twice at home. But I think you have to give the New York Red Bulls a lot of credit here tonight. They defended their box well. Their defensive box organization was excellent. Look, they got a lot of guys that are very good in the air, so the delivery, it was pretty interesting because right before Amin Bassi hit that really driven ball in to Dorsey making the run in the box, I said that if the Dynamo were going to get something aerial off delivery, it was going to have to be hit in with pace. That's exactly what happened with Bassi's ball, and you caught a player on the move. So basically it's a driven-in ball that's going to catch somebody on the move with a retreating defender in John Tolkien. And it was a great opportunity, and it was a fantastic ball. And the Dynamo needed more of those. But the quality wasn't there to get the 2-2 draw tonight. I think that's pretty obvious. I think tonight you do miss, obviously, Hector Herrera. And you do need some attacking signings. I think that's pretty much a given here for the Dynamo. And that said, if you look at the 4 games with the challenges they've had, guys getting into preseason late, the injuries, I think they're in an okay place, in a good place. I don't think there's any reason to panic. We learned that last year in a very big way. Now, there was a really cool moment. I don't know if you saw it at the end of the game. So remember I had mentioned on Soccer Matters ESPN 97.5 that Griffin Dorsey should go into the January camp for the U.S. national team. He didn't get selected. John Tolkien did, the left back for the New York Red Bulls, who, by the way, is from my hometown called Chatham, New Jersey. We have put a number of players in the pros, a couple guys in my period. Dan Canner played for the U.S. national team, my teammate growing up. Harry Dietrich, Billy Walsh played for the Metro Stars, who now owns a bar and a pub in Morristown, New Jersey. I was in there when I went home to see my mother, who's 97, and I'm walking out of the pub and I hear somebody yelling, "Hey, Billy wants to see you." I'm Billy who? And he goes, "Billy Walsh." I go, "You're kidding." And then I walk back in with this guy and find out it's his bar, and we had a nice chat and discussion. So New Jersey soccer does reign sometimes. But the cool moment was Griffin Dorsey and John Tolkien, who went at it all night long, traded jerseys at the end of the game. I thought that was a pretty cool thing. But again, I think there was an overdependence on the right side of the field with Dorsey and Coco. And listen, teams are aware of it. Jonah Perez says, "Love you, Glenn Davis." Jonah, the love is mutual. Thank you for that. That's very kind. Mike P. said we gave them possession after we scored. I hate when we do that. It does happen sometimes. I don't think there's any question. Rushan said Kovalchuk was tackled a lot. Smaller guy, couldn't win bigger guys of New York. Yeah, but I think he may be fatigued a little bit. He's played a lot of minutes. You've gotten a lot of good out of him. I feel good about him. These pregame, postgame shows are a good thumbs up. Thank you, Jonah. Spread the word, though. You guys got to spread the word because I don't want to do this to 15 people. We got to get people subscribing. Why not sub the college kids in for Aliu since he was gassed? I don't know. He had scored tonight. Anytime you get more Glenn on the mic is dollars. Thanks for that, Jorge. Appreciate all that nice stuff. I think we're going to probably call it tonight. The Dynamo go down 2-1 here. Really appreciate all the thoughts from everybody coming in because I thrive on that. I don't want to sit here and be the only one with an opinion and a thought. There's very educated soccer people here in Houston. We know that. Keep the thoughts in. Keep the opinions coming. Keep them rolling. I want to hear more from you guys on the radio show, too, and more clicks on the podcast. I need that help in order to keep this stuff going here. And it doesn't work without all of you. And it hasn't worked all these years that I've done this in Houston without all of you. So just a reminder, it's Monday and Wednesday at 6 Central Time. So we're really in drive home, which is pretty rare for a soccer show. If you can help me build the numbers there, we can stay there, and we want to stay there. I want to come in after live Houston programming on ESPN 97.5, and the before programming is the Killer Bees with Joel and Jeremy. That's gold. It's gold to stay there. It's a privilege to be there. I don't think there's a soccer show in the country in a major market that does live soccer talk that's in a drive home slot. I don't think, find me one. Somebody find me one, okay? And it's a free Soccer Matters t-shirt. I don't think there is. So that'll do it. See you Monday night, 6 o'clock Central Time. Soccer Matters, ESPN 97.5 with Justin Finger. I'm Glenn Davis. I want to remind you again, we appreciate all the opinion. My whole game here is about, extolling the opinion, the comments, and getting people talking about the game. That's it. All right? Should I do a mic up here tonight?